Hi there, for this episode I've pulled something interesting out of the gaming vault. It's this Star Wars plug and play TV game. This came out to coincide with the release of Revenge of the Sith, the third and final of the prequel trilogy. Probably just about the best of a bad bunch, to be honest. And as you can see, it's modelled on R2-D2. There were other versions of this thing out at the time, modelled on Darth Vader, Yoda and General Grievous from the film. But I chose the R2-D2 one because R2-D2 is my favourite Star Wars character. So let's take a look at the fact file for this thing. So the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith plug and play TV game was released in 2005 to coincide with the release of the movie. This I think was a US version because I don't think the R2-D2 version was originally released in the UK, and I specifically wanted the R2 version. It was created by Jakks Pacific, who I suppose you could say published and developed it. Price I paid for it, absolutely no idea really. I suspect it was basically the retail price plus some shipping, so maybe about £15 to £20, I'm really not sure. The current going rate for these things on eBay, well, you can get a loose Darth Vader one, which is the most common one, for about £5. If you want to get the R2-D2 one, it'll probably cost you £5 to £10 loose, or £15 plus if it's boxed. So this thing's got 5 games on it, so let's take a look at the unit in more detail and then plug it in and play the games. So here are the connectors that plug this thing into your TV. So you've got the composite connectors, the yellow one for video and the white one for audio. So straight away, we're not going to get particularly good quality when I do plug this in to play it. So looking at the unit itself, obviously it's shaped like a typical sort of game controller. You've got a control pad thing here. It's kind of like an analog stick, but really wobbly. And to be honest, it's not really required to be analog within the game. It's just normal like D-pad controls. So I don't particularly know why they made it like that. It's got 2 buttons, A and B, one green, one red. If you have a listen to those, they're not very well made. They're not very comfortable for press for any length of time. We've also got a pause button and an on-off switch, of course, and it says Star Wars on the front. It's nicely designed like R2-D2, as you can see, pretty nicely done. The hand grips are not too bad. They could do with being a bit longer, but they're reasonably comfortable, and you can kind of put your finger underneath that bit there, so that's quite nice. The thing runs off 4 AA batteries, by the way. They plug in the back, obviously, and it's also got this game key port on the front of it here. So this was an addition to some of these Jakks games later in the era of them, and basically you could buy an extra cartridge that's got extra games on and plug that in. I think it's got 2 games on the one that's compatible with this unit, but I've never actually seen one of those or used one. So let's just have a quick look inside the port. You can see it's got sort of console or cartridge style connectors in there. You probably can't see it that well, but it has. Anyway, so there we go. It's a pretty robust unit. It's reasonably nicely formed, and it looks like R2-D2, so it's quite nice. So let's now power it on and have a look at the games that are included on it. Okay, so I've powered the unit on. As you can see, you get a nice plug and play TV games logo, and then you get to the main menu, which is got Star Wars Revenge of the Sith at the top, and then you've got 5 games to choose from. I'll just cycle through those with the controller. We'll go through them obviously in a lot more detail as this video progresses. There's some music in the background, obviously the Imperial March, which you more commonly associate with the original trilogy and The Empire Strikes Back. It did feature in the end sequences of Revenge of the Sith when Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, so we'll let them off. The other thing you can access from this menu though, it very quickly goes into the high score table for each game. You can, if you push up in the menu, you can get to the credits, so just have a quick look at those, and you get the classic Star Wars theme in the background for those. So it looks like most of the development was done by Tonight, and here are some of the people that worked on it. Okay, that's probably enough for that. Let's get back to the main menu and start the games. And the first game that appears on the screen when you load the thing up or power it on is Droid Invasion, so let's start with that. So it gives you instructions for each game on the unit. And Droid Invasion, Obi-Wan must use his lightsaber to deflect the Separatist droid army's laser beams and save the Republic. Grab drop power-ups to aid the fight, but watch out for thermal detonators. So it also gives you the control, so that's quite nice that each game gives you the instructions. You don't have to look at a manual or anything like that. That's pretty cool. So let's get on and play it. So we're starting on level 1, which is on Naboo, which barely featured in Revenge of the Sith, and certainly in no action sequences that I can remember. And the idea of this game is to deflect, you're basically Obi-Wan at the bottom of the screen, deflect the laser bolts back at the robots coming down the screen, the battle droids, and fend them off and destroy them all, and then you move on to the next level basically. And you have to be, come on, you have to be in a very precise position to deflect the laser bolts directly back up at them, which is quite difficult to do with this D-pad. There we go, I managed to do it just at the last minute. You do get like a siren going off when they're getting a bit too close. So yeah, this D-pad analog stick thing is, it's very difficult to get little precise movements. Oh, I've got shot. You can wiggle from side to side like this, which is kind of amusing. So maybe that'll help. Maybe that's the best way to do this. So you want to deflect them straight back up, really, at the robots, so that they get the ones that you that fired them down in the first place. But actually, what you can also do is deflect them off to the left and right. Sometimes they'll bounce off the walls. There we go. I got him, which was useful because he was getting quite close. Still going to be quite difficult to get all these, I think. Oh, maybe I'll do it. One left. Oh, come on. So yeah, I describe this game as a kind of a cross between, we've got the boss for the first level now, kind of a cross between Space Invaders and something like Arkanoid or Breakout, because you can deflect things off the walls and stuff, kind of like the ball in Breakout, but ultimately the idea is just to destroy all the enemies advancing down the screen. So graphics are okay, I guess you'd say. I mean, they've got 16-bit colour, but it's more of an 8-bit style game, I guess you'd say. Oh, there goes another life. So the idea of this boss stage is you've got to destroy the 4 orbiting orbs, and then you get to shoot at the actual battle droid cruiser after that. So none of these things appeared in Revenge of the Sith as far as I can remember, and I have watched it fairly recently. Yeah, this is more something I'd associate with the first film in the prequel series, Phantom Menace, Episode 1. So yeah, it's quite hard to shoot these things. Basically the best thing to do is just stand in one place and wait for the right combination of a bullet coming down and the ship thing being round at the same time. But that's not going well right now. Let's try moving somewhere else. You see, the orbs don't actually fire, it's only the battle droid cruiser thing that fires. Alright, okay, we're getting somewhere now. So basically what you've got to do now is destroy the battle droid, and that wasn't too bad. I keep saying battle droid, it's more of the cruiser. So now we're on Geonosis, which was featured in Attack of the Clones, the worst Star Wars film ever made. And I haven't watched that recently because it's absolutely terrible. So yeah, more of the same, basically just more enemies coming down the screen at you. You know, they're reasonably good interpretations of the battle droids, I would say. They've only got a few frames of animation, so that's not brilliant. What is this? I don't know, but I managed to destroy it anyway. So I've just got power up, which is a force push, which is handy because I can push them all back up and give myself a bit more time. Nearly there, come on, get this one. And this one's going to have a power up in it as well, because the red ones all do. So another force push for next time around. And here comes some more of them. So yeah, it's quite boring, this one, to be honest. It's basically just stand at the bottom with your lightsaber held to deflect all the bolts against not that big a variety of enemies. What's this one do? Oh, shield, okay. I don't know how long that shield's going to last though, so it's not really much use. This thing's going to kill me, yeah. If they get to the bottom, you lose a life as well, just like in Space Invaders. Let's try again. Only got one life left. Sound effects, by the way, just basically classic Star Wars lightsaber and blaster noises, really. No music in game. Don't know what I'm supposed to do about this thing that's flying around here, but this is going to be difficult. Oh, force push just when I needed it most. One left. Come on, get him. Oh. Oh, it's not. I'm gonna die. Oh, I've just got him right at the end, and I got a shield as well. So this will be handy because here comes the boss for stage 2. And again, it's more of the same by the looks of it. Just get rid of the 4 orbs and eventually get to shoot the boss thing, which is some kind of spidery thing. I vaguely recall that from episode 2. Let me know in the comments what you think the worst Star Wars film of all time is. There's plenty to choose from now, but yeah, for me it's episode 2 by a country mile. It's abysmal. Okay, so now we're on Mustafar, which is a strange place to be doing this because the main thing to do on Mustafar was to fight Obi-Wan, to fight Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So, oh, that was a thermal detonator, drop down, blow me up, and that's game over. And we've seen enough of that. So there is a high score table for each game, so I'll put my name in the high score table. As you can see, I've played it a few times before. 805 points for all that effort, which wasn't great. So once you've entered your name, it will go back to the menu. You don't get to play it again without sort of firing it up again. So let's move on to game number 2, which is Coruscant Attack. And the idea of this one is separatist insurgents have dared to launch a brutal sneak attack on the Republic homeworld of Coruscant, lead Obi-Wan into battle against surging waves of enemy fighters, destroy gigantic battleships in Obi-Wan's sleek Jedi starfighter. We've got joystick controls to move the ship, A to fire weapons, and also let go to detonate mines, and also B to activate drift. So this is a shoot 'em up, and I would most liken it, in terms of the controls at least, to Time Pilot. You can rotate the ship around by moving the D-pad. There's power-ups to pick up, and you also leave mines behind you, so if things are following you, you can actually drop bombs behind you as well. And there's a certain number of enemies to eliminate on each screen, on each stage I should say, just like Time Pilot. Oh, that's the Anakin assist power-up, so I've got an extra ship now, sort of a wingman. So after the first level of just some basic fighters, you end up against a big battleship, and you basically just got to destroy all the guns. It's quite hard because they're quite small and they do all fire at you. Got a double shot now, which will help. Oh, and I've got blown up. Luckily when you do get blown up, oh, I've got blown up again. It's very hard to avoid the bullets because they shoot quite close to you. Nearly there, I think. Got a couple left, a couple of turrets left to get rid of. Just this big one here, I can get the right angle at it. There we go, stage clear, blown up the mothership, and on to level 2. So yeah, I mean, it moved quite smoothly. The scrolling's quite nice. It's very much just a Time Pilot clone for the most part, with the addition of some large fighters to the battleships to attack between stages. Sometimes you'll just wander around for ages with no enemies on screen, which is a bit odd. And this drift thing I haven't mentioned yet, but maybe we can show it here. It basically just turns the ship around 180 degrees, so if you've got stuff chasing you, you can quickly turn around and shoot at it. And the sound effects of the game are exactly the same as the sound effects in the first game, really. You've just got the laser noises. They reuse a lot of the sound effects in these plug and play things. Ooh, just cleared the stage just in time then, because I think I was about to get blown up. Another wave of fighters, it appears. Oh, and they're shooting back now, making life a little bit more difficult. I've got quite a few lives left. Oh wow, this is not going well all of a sudden. Yeah, but the main graphics are pretty nice. Again, the starfield in the background's pretty good. So it is where you can use these bombs to just blast the stuff that's behind you. Oh dear, this has got very hard all of a sudden. So this does recreate the opening sequence of Revenge of the Sith. So that's fair enough. It does tie in with the film a lot better. It's not too bad. I mean, you know, that opening sequence of the movie is probably the best bit. I would say Revenge of the Sith. The first 30 minutes are pretty good. The last 30 minutes are pretty good, apart from Padme dying of heartbreak. And the middle of it's absolute garbage. There's so much bad stuff going on. Bad special effects, terrible acting, and oh, that's game over. So again, for all that effort, I got 650 points, which wasn't great. And now I forgot to put the T in, and I've entered my name as Ma. So probably no need to play that anymore. It's you've seen pretty much all you're going to see. It just progresses to more enemies and bigger ships to destroy, basically. Okay, so time to move on to the third game, which is Grievous Onslaught. And you see General Grievous there, his eyes peering at you out of the screen. That character was awful, by the way. I think he was a terrible character. Okay, so this game is pretty much a continuation of the previous game. You're now on General Grievous's flagship. You must fight your way through hordes of merciless battle droids to storm the bridge and rescue Chancellor Palpatine. So this is the second half of that opening sequence from the movie. So again, it's joystick to move around. You can swing your lightsaber, and you also collect up special items as well. So let's give it a go. So here we go. This is a sort of overhead view, almost like, I don't know, kind of Smash TV kind of thing. The droids are coming in, not in the such waves as they do in Smash TV or something like that, but similar sort of idea. You've got to destroy all the robots in an area, and then you move on to the next one through a door. So there's a little bit of scrolling. You can deflect the enemy shots if you get the chance to. I don't know what this power up was, can't remember. Or you can actually obviously go close to the droids and just hit them with a lightsaber. So I think this does randomise slightly in terms of which rooms you go through. I've never got particularly far in this one playing it before. I find this one quite difficult. I do not know what that power up is. It's just a fist in a red circle. Okay, so I've reached Chancellor Palpatine quite easily here. And this is the first time I've ever seen this screen because I've never got this far before. I usually get shot. Oh no. You can die by running into the robots as well, and that's exactly what's happened. I think I'll give that another go. That's actually the best I've ever done on it, because I've got the most points I've ever got, which is a whopping 290 points. Okay, so the red one was supposed to be force pushed, but when I tried it, it didn't do anything, so I'm not really sure what was going on there. So let's go again. Exactly the same idea as before, so I'll talk more about the sound and graphics. Again, sounds, very much the same sounds, blaster shots and lightsaber sounds. We've already heard those in the first game. This is a lot more fun than that one, by the way. It's nice to rampage around as Anakin. Oh no, I got shot. You've got to be very... Your timing's got to be spot on with these blaster return things. I can get out there. Okay, so I've got the force push again. Let's give this a go on this level. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't seem to do anything anyway. Oh, that's a lot of blaster shots all of a sudden. Ooh. Okay. Okay, did push him a little bit, but not much. Certainly not as good as the force push on the other game. So I think you've got to get through around 5 stages before you reach the Chancellor, and then you've got to fend off some... Oh, that's annoying. I was close then. Is that it? Yeah, you always get a power up at the end of each wave before you can move on to the next one. Right, okay, here we go. Same idea as last time. Let's see if we can get through it without getting killed this time. Oh. Presumably these things are going to get me if it come at me eventually. Oh my god, what's going on here? Okay. The ship was hit and some debris rained down, so I guess you just got to avoid that. I don't know what's going on with these two guards. Oh, game over again. Oh, that's a bit of a shame, because I'd like to see what happens when you actually rescue him. So maybe I'll just give it one more try, because I haven't been playing for very long. Okay, so I've made it back to this final stage with 3 lives, and I've got a shield at the moment. Didn't realise how you pick up the different power-ups at first, but basically when you kill a power-up enemy, you can see that it actually rotates between the different options, so you can then pick up the one you want. Like I've now got a freeze or stun kind of power-up, so it stuns the robots. But the shield one's definitely the best one to get. So I didn't really mention the graphics up to this point. The animation on the characters is quite nice, and overall I think the graphics are quite good on this one as well. It's not too bad. I really don't know how long. I guess you just got to survive successive waves of this stuff coming at you. Really, it's not entirely clear. This is as good as I've ever done in this particular game. So yeah, it's uncharted territory. And again, the ship's been hit. I just don't get it. Am I supposed to get these guys? I don't know. Oh, lost a life now. I hope it doesn't start all the way from the beginning again. I think it probably does though. I really don't know what's going on. So yeah, I'll pick up that shield power up, that'll help me a lot. Yeah, you don't seem to be able to hit those guys, so I don't really know what's going on. Oh, just walking into them when you're trying to hit them and you end up walking into them is really annoying. This is by far the hardest of the games I've played so far. I've had several playthroughs off camera before getting to this point again, where I just lost lives on the very first stage by getting shot or being running into something. So yeah, quite hard this. Yeah, the ship's been hit, you keep telling me that. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to rescue him at that point? I have no idea. It's really not clear what I'm supposed to do. Oh, and that's game over. I'm not going to play it again. That's good enough. That's the most points I've ever got in it. But yeah, bit of a curious one that. I'm not quite sure what you're supposed to do there to complete the stage. It's not very obvious. So let's move on to game number 4, which is the gunship battle. And in this one, the daring forces of the Republic battle separatist insurgents in every sector of the galaxy. Pilot a gunship to decimate the enemy on the ground so clone troopers can break out in advance, turn the tide of the war one shattered planet at a time. Very dramatic. So you've got some controls for moving the gunship, fire primary weapons and drop a proton bomb, and some icons for troops and base being under attack. And then you've got another set of instructions here. Lots of detail there. Basically you've got to get 4 clone troopers into the separatist base, take over enemy turrets and refueling base in the middle of the battlefield, but that's not mandatory. 1 squad of 4 clone troopers can be on the battlefield. As they take over bases and turrets or are destroyed, another group will appear from your base or the refueling base. You must protect your troops from the separatist forces either by destroying opposing forces or by landing and transporting them to safer locations. Be on the lookout for the enemy dropship. So this one's a little bit more strategic than the other games and certainly more complex in terms of the instructions. So level 1, we start on this base here. You're piloting this gunship. You can move up and down, left and right. Oh, I've landed back on it for some reason. You can move left and right. You can fire missiles and lasers, it would appear, and you can also drop bombs with the B button. And the idea is it's a scrolling game. You choose when to scroll. Anything shooting red bullets is on your side, so those guns aren't shooting at me. You can land on this thing here to refuel or repower, stop your energy up basically. So the idea is you can see the little men, they're your clone troopers walking along the bottom of the screen there. You can drop and pick those up. You can land and pick them up, I should say. Oh, 2 of them died, but there you go, pick one of them up. And the idea is you've got to get to the enemy base, which is going to be along here somewhere. There we go, and try and get your guys into their base. So if I drop this one now, he'll go into the base and he'll probably die because he hasn't got any backup, but that's what you're supposed to do. You can also, oh, I've got blown up because as soon as one of their droids gets into the into one of the laser turrets, it respawns and starts shooting at you, so you have to be careful about that. So let's pick these 2 guys up. So what I've found from playing this a few times is that the best strategy is basically to get as far forward as you can and just keep bombing this turret here and bombing all the guys that come out of the base, and wait for your guys to get close to the turret and then drop down. And obviously I've got 2 guys in my thing as well, although I've got very little energy left and I need to go back and refuel, otherwise I'm going to lose a life. So let's just drop back down there, refuel or restore energy effectively, and then try again. And in the meantime, what will have happened, I suspect, is that, yeah, that thing's been repopulated. So if you stand here or hover here and shoot and blow all the guys up that are coming out of the base, all the little droids, then eventually what you should be able to do, if you can time it right, is drop down and let your 2 guys out. Oh, that's bad news, and I've got blown up again and I have to start again. So this is definitely the most strategic of the games, the most sort of in-depth in terms of how to play it. There's a couple of different strategies you can employ to try and get through it, and I need to go and refuel again. It is a bit sort of a war of attrition, which is kind of apt given that you're in a war. Moving backwards and forwards, doing this over and over again, it takes some trial and error, I think, as well. It took me a while to work out the best approach for this one. But yeah, the problem you've got is that the ship that's moving around every now and then that you see, I can't see it now, but it's like a sort of cylindrical shape, not these ones but the other one, that's coming along and dropping bombs on your guys. That's the equivalent of my gunship. So you've got to, basically you've got to keep moving backwards and forwards, protecting your guys as well. So it's hard. It's definitely hard to do this stage, and I'm died, and that's game over, I think. Oh, it's not. No, I've got another life. So I'll carry on a little bit more. You can just hold the A button down, by the way. You can't hold the firing downwards button down, though. You have to actually press that. Let's see if I can get this thing. There we go. So yeah, this is my strategy, such that it is oh, they've got back in, and I'm going to die again if I'm not careful. So yeah, it's a lot of repetitive pressing of buttons, but if you stand here, theoretically, eventually your guys will get along and overtake the gun, and then eventually move and overtake the base as well. This is my strategy, such that it is. But you do get hit occasionally, which means that sometimes you have to go back and refuel, and then what usually happens is the droids take over this gun again. So I don't know where my guys are now. Oh, I've cleared the stage somehow. I didn't notice I got 4 guys in, but never mind, I've got to level 2. So level 2 looks to be on Geonosis again from episode 2. So this doesn't really recreate a scene from Revenge of the Sith as such. There's sort of occasional little scenes of gunships flying around and troops on the ground and things like that. So it's sort of, you can imagine this is going on in the background. This is effectively the Clone Wars taking place. So I don't mind that this is not really part of the movie, because it's sort of, you can accept that it's going on while the movie's going on, so I think that's fair enough. On this level you've got tanks as well now that you have to bomb, just to make it a little bit more difficult. I'm surviving quite well with my last life, although I think that's about to come to an end. But again, same idea now, you could just sit in this place, but I need to go back and refuel. Meantime my guys will be just dying off. What I haven't really done much of is picking up, which kind of reminds me of Choplifter a little bit in that respect, where you can drop down, pick your guys up. That was a good shot by that cannon then. So I've got a couple of guys in my gunship now, so I'm going to try and ferry them over, drop them down here. Oh no, no. One more hit and I'm dead. There we go, and that's game over. I think I might give that another go, because I do quite like this one. I've played it a few times, as you can see from the scoreboard, and this is probably, or definitely, the most interesting game out of the 5. So I'll give it another shot and see if I can get to that stage again and try and show a little bit more of it. Okay, so I'm back to level 2, and one thing I haven't mentioned is there's a pause option, and with pause you can continue or go back to the main menu. Obviously I'm going to continue. So let's carry on with level 2 again. I've only got 1 life left again, so this may not last long, but I should probably talk about the graphics and sound like I have with all the other games. Graphics pretty nice again, lots of nice use of colour, movement is quite nice as well, the scrolling and everything, and the way it animates when it turns around. Sound is the same sounds you've heard in all the other games. Laser blasts, basically everything's laser blasts in this game, and it's the same laser blasts in every single game, so fairly unremarkable in that respect, but you know, it's not too bad. So let's see if we can make any progress on this level. Probably not, to be honest, because it's quite hard to get off the first level. I had several attempts to do so before I started recording again, but you never know. See, this is where the problems start because I'm already low on energy, so I think I'm going to have to go back, hope that my troops can make some progress in the meantime. Oh, that was close. There we go. Quick top up on the energy again. See how... Oh no, that's bad news as well. Ooh, let's go back again. Yeah, you do this a lot. But I like the idea of the game. It's definitely a lot more challenging and interesting than all the other games, which are pretty straightforward. You know, clones of retro style games, shoot 'em ups or run and gun style things. This one is trying to do a little bit more than that, so definitely the best of the bunch, I would say. I'm just going to sit here and hope that my troops will finally make it to this turret before I run out of health. So I'm just blowing the enemies as they come out of the base with the bomb. It's not the most interesting way of playing it, but I am racking up a lot of points. That's another good thing about this one, is there's lots of points to be had on it compared to the others where you might get like 200 or 300 points for the whole game. At least on this one, you've got a shot of getting some pretty decent score on it. So far nothing's hit me for ages. The problem is, as I've said, that opposing gunship is going and killing all my troops now and then, so it'll take me a while to get here. So I should probably go off and... Oh, there's another one coming along here. You have to get 4 in. I'm not sure if I think it mentioned that in the instructions, but I'm not sure I've mentioned it since. So I'm going to get 1 in, I would assume. You can't kill your own men, by the way, so that's 1 troop in. Let's go off and try and pick one of them up. See if we can make some... Oh no, that's what I didn't want to happen, because now they've taken over that gun. So let's just head back, refuel again. So if I pick these guys up where I'm protected by my cannon, that might help. That was close. Oh no, I'm going to have to go back. Still got the troops in the carrier though, so if I can hold that front gun and then deploy all the troops I've got in my carrier into the base, I might actually complete the level. I don't know. Let's give it a go. Here we go. In they go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 2. I need another 1. Okay. So that's probably the way to play it best, is try and sort of get rid of the enemies in front of you, and then just get what the guys and drop them off right by the door. Easier said than done in a lot of occasions, but there we go. I've got a whole carrier full of them now, but all the guns have been taken over by the opposition. Oh, here we go. This could be a chance. Are they going to get in? Stage clear. Oh yeah, I've done it with the very minimal amount of energy left. Right, okay, so same again now it seems. The background's gone back to wherever this is, just some generic forest planet kind of thing. Oh, okay. So now you've got to take over that base as well in the middle. You've got to take over the refueling station first, it seems. Which presumably means you've got to get troops into it. So it has increased the difficulty level as well. That's quite good. Yeah, I've not really got too much to complain about with this game. I think it's quite good fun. I'm amazed how long I'm lasting with a single life. At some point that will come to an end. But yeah, so that's our base, and basically the bit in the middle can like be captured by either side, I guess you could say. Oh, and there we go. That's finally game over. But yeah, I quite enjoyed that one. Definitely the best of the bunch, and I got top score, beating my own previous score by some distance. So quite nice, that one. So let's go back to the menu and look at the final game in this collection, which is the Utapau chase. General Grievous has been tracked to his hiding place on Utapau. Everyone must pursue the General's fleeing wheelbike in a climactic battle, end the separatist threat once and for all. So once again we've got the joystick or D-pad or analog stick, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty horrible. That moves in 8 directions. You've also got firing the laser and swinging the tail. So this game is a recreation of a scene from Revenge of the Sith. One of the worst scenes in the whole film, in my opinion, one of the worst action sequences. It's where Obi-Wan's on the back of this horrible lizard thing, chasing after General Grievous in his like hamster wheel motorbike thing, and this lizard is just awful. It's the noise it makes is really irritating. It makes like a high-pitched squeaking noise. The CGI on it's bad. It was bad even then. It's really bad looking at it back now, like 15 years later or whatever. So yeah, basically it's a scrolling shoot 'em up kind of thing, vertically scrolling obviously, and after a little while you end up facing off against something like this thing, like an end of level boss which fires some bullets at you, and you've got to try and shoot it and avoid the bullets, or at least as best you can, which is not that easy. There's lots of power-ups to pick up, there's loads of extra lives, so it's actually quite easy, this one. As I say, it's kind of a scrolling shooter, but it also reminds me a little bit of Spy Hunter or something like that, where you're continually scrolling, there's lots of things like bits of scenery that you can crash into, and if you do then you lose energy very quickly and die. So I've got double shot there, so some decent power-ups. You can also, oh, I don't know what happened there, it's crashed into the side or something. You can also use the lizard's tail to bash the bikes or whatever these things are that are coming past. So there's a bit of variety in the gameplay. This happens a lot, you just kind of get stuck and you end up dying. But as I said, you do get a lot of lives, so it's not too bad, although I lost the track of which sprite I was there, and I was following one of the bikes instead of the lizard. So yeah, it's okay, it's a scrolling shoot 'em up. Getting stuck in the scenery is quite annoying. The idea of bashing the other things off the road, again, that happened in Spy Hunter as well, that you could bash the opposing cars off the road. So yeah, basically if you get this right you can just kind of move side to side, not get hit too much, and this is General Grievous on his stupid hamster wheel bike. Graphically, again, it's similar to all the others. There's lots of browns and sandy sort of colours, as befits a lot of the landscapes in Star Wars. The power-ups all kind of look similar to the other games. The main sprite is pretty nicely animated. You know, the swishing of his tail is quite good. He's got armour at the moment. I don't know how you suddenly strap armour onto a lizard, but there you go. Oh, there we go, got stuck in the scenery there and you just can't get away from it, so that's a bit annoying. It's not a particularly exciting game. It's a race to the finish, face the boss, move on to the next level. You don't have to jump over the gaps either. You just automatically jump over those. We've got 7 lives at the moment. It's way too generous with the power-ups, this one, compared to some of the other ones in particular. So you've got shields, you've got double and triple shot. I'm now on triple shot, I think, and stuff like that. So probably reaching the end of the stage again here if I don't get caught in the scenery too much. Here we go, here he is again. I don't know if that's the same as last time I was coming towards it. Oh, that didn't take much to kill him with triple shot. Wow, so I'm on level 4, I've got 8 lives. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how easy it is. You can literally just drive up the screen, and as long as you avoid crashing into stuff, it doesn't seem to get much harder. Yeah, sounds, once again, it's the same old laser sounds as in all the others. So yeah, they certainly didn't spend a lot of effort recreating different sounds, but I suppose what they did was sample the sounds from the movie, and they were good enough, I guess you could say. I've got like quadruple fire now, so yeah, decent with the power-ups for sure. Got shields. Yeah, it's just way too easy, this one. I've got 9 lives, and not really any sign of losing any of them as long as you're careful not to crash into the scenery. Oh, I crashed in the scenery there though. Again, I lost track of which sprite I was then. I think sometimes they nudge you across. But yeah, you can move quite far up the screen as well. Not really any reason to do that. Oh, I got stuck in the scenery again there. So yeah, not a great game this, and based on a terrible scene from the movie, as I said, so I don't mind too much. Your health actually restores when you're not getting hit as well, it looks like, so that's pretty good also, and also quite generous given how easy the game is. I've lost a couple of lives here, but again, I'm pretty close to wiping him out again here. Oh no, he's got me. Yeah, if you've got the multi-power, then it does make life a lot easier for you. I need one hit on him without him hitting me. No, he's got me again. Oh no, I killed him. Stage, I will look like we both died then. So yeah, I'm now on level 5. Yeah, I'm already bored of this one. But I may as well continue it until
I run out of lives, I suppose. I guess each level gets a little bit harder with more obstacles, more enemies, but again, the movement's not particularly fast considering you're on something that's meant to be quite quick and agile. Quack and agile, that'd be a duck, I suppose. Yeah, anyway, so again, it's just, I've already picked up 2 extra lives on this stage alone, I think. It's definitely way too generous with the extra lives in particular. If it was generous with the other power-ups, then fair enough, but giving you extra lives all over the place is just a little bit too good. Here's another one now, I'm back up to 8 lives now. Oh, stuck in the scenery again. Yeah, it's the control, again, this is one where you need to be quite precise at times, and this weird analog stick style controller that's really just a D-pad, it makes it quite difficult at times. I can't remember what, oh yeah, swish the tail, I forgot what the other button did on this one, but yeah, swishing the tail. There goes another life, but again, no, and there goes another one because I got nudged into the scenery. So maybe my number's up a little bit, although I still have 6 lives left. The bit on the left hand side there, which is you sort of progress through the stage, that reminds me a little bit, as does the game in some respects, also the Konami game Road Fighter, which shows you sort of progress to the end of the stage. So yeah, definitely lots of retro influences in all these games. They're all variants of you know, fairly well known retro style games. So in that respect, I definitely call it a retro compilation. Even in 2005 when it was originally released, I would say it was a retro compilation, even though technically it wouldn't have been classed as retro if you go by, you know, the usual sort of ways of defining retro, whatever you might do for those. So what am I on here? I've still got, oh, shield there, so I can just literally sit in front of him and blast him now. He's more difficult to kill on this level, that's for sure, but I think I'm going to manage it. No, he got me. I don't know what happened there, I was really close to killing him off, and he killed me off. It's still going on. I was expecting it to be game over by now. I've got 9 lives, for heaven's sake. I'm not even trying that hard to avoid what he's shooting at me. He even give you extra lives as you're going through the boss stage. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, obviously it's becoming more difficult now because he's throwing bombs at me and stuff as well. But like, how many times have I got to kill General Grievous, for heaven's sake? There you go, you don't even lose the power up, so I'm now on 4-way fire, even though I've lost a ton of lives. So yeah, they really made this one very easy. Shield there as well, I must surely get him this time. Come on, come on. There we go, finally. And, oh, I thought I'd already done level 6. I mean, yeah, I'm just bored of it now. I think I'm going to quit because how many of these levels can you go through? It would be interesting to see what the final level, you know, how far it goes in terms of number of levels, but it all just seems very samey, even more so than most of the other games. It's very repetitive and kind of boring. You're probably fed up of hearing me talk about it, so yeah, let's just call it a day at that point. I'll just let him scroll on without shooting and see how long he lasts. So yeah, to sum this compilation up then, or collection of games on a little R2-D2 shaped controller, they're alright. I mean, I think you would have got your money's worth for 15 or 20 quid, whatever it cost originally. You know, you've got 5 games, they're all reasonably playable. Some are more fun than others. I would definitely say the Gunship game, that's the best of the bunch, with a bit of strategy involved and different ways of playing it. This is one of the worst ones, but definitely the worst of all is the Droid Assault, or whatever it was called, where you've got to fend off the droids coming down the screen with the lightsaber. That's really poor. The others are sort of in the middle, a couple of, you know, different styles of games. There's a run and lightsaber with Anakin in the spaceship, and there's also the one based on the opening sequence from the film, flying the starship around time pilot style. So overall, reasonable collection of games. Graphics are pretty nice, sounds are repetitive, but you know, they're very Star Warsy sounds. The music on the title screen is alright. You can save your high scores as well, so that's quite good as well. Overall, it's a pretty good unit. Obviously the quality of the graphics is a bit questionable because of the composite connector, but overall I would say it's reasonably nicely put together, and I've managed to get through all that. I think I actually end up with more lives than I started with somehow, despite not firing a shot. This is absolutely ludicrous. So anyway, in terms of whether I was going to keep or sell it, I was always going to keep it because I collect everything I can to do with R2-D2 in particular in my Star Wars collection, so I was never going to get rid of it. And I actually think it's really playable, although I'll probably never play it again in all honesty. It's quite a nice, interesting collection of retro style games, but this one is just insanely easy. There can't be an easier game than this when you get into like level 6 and you've still got 7 lives. I'll make that 6 now. But on that note, if you've got any thoughts about this thing, and also any thoughts about Star Wars and Revenge of the Sith in particular, then let me know in the video comments. And I think that will do for this one, because I'm really kind of bored with it now. I'm just going to quit out to the menu, in fact.
Let's now pick a game for the next review video, and I'm going to go back to normal computer and console games, pick one out of the tin as usual. Let's see what we get. And it is, this time, a Mega Drive game, Dashing Desperados. So next time around we'll be playing Dashing Desperados on the Mega Drive. Join me for that then. Thanks very much for watching this video, and see you next time.